where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 41 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. I'm Chet Roivas, with me is John Denton.
Yeah, boy.
As usual, we've got a list of 10 games each. The games we've been playing over the past 7 days. Number 10 is the game we've been playing the least. Number 1 is the most. And that's it. John, go ahead.
Straight away, number 10, Clay Jam. Talked about it last week. Wicked iPhone game from the guys that may or may not be from Brighton. No, they definitely are from Brighton. Anyway, like I said, Katamari with clay, plasticine. You have to build up your ball by running over all these little monsters, then flick the ball at this bearded goat, which sends flying off. And the further you can get it to fly, the higher you score. You open up new worlds, you unlock new monsters to make your ball bigger. Really, really cool. It's free. Highly recommended. Really nice game. It's getting a lot of good press as well. And like I said, I've been following it for ages. So nice to see those guys doing well, because nice guys. Spoken to them.
Okay, cool. Clay Jam.
Clay Jam. Yeah, it's really good and it's free. So everyone just check it out.
Cool. All right, I'm going to do that. My number 10 is a game called Shootout on the Xbox 360. It's an Xbox Live indie game. It costs 80 points, and it's a first-person shooter. So I thought I'd have a look at it, and it's fine. It actually works. All you're doing is sort of beating times on areas that all have moving targets in them. There's no people. You're not fighting enemies that are alive. It's basic as can be. But it actually works. It's not something I'd advise anyone buy. But if you had 80 points and you were a really undemanding child, or you had to keep a really undemanding child busy for like.
There's not many undemanding children, I don't think.
That's very true. I don't know. It's basic as possible, and I hope that whoever created it is going to go on to bigger and better things, because they clearly know what they're doing. It controls like COD, and I was like, this is it's like I said, it couldn't be more basic. But I was like, yeah, it's all right. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but at the same time, fair play to the guy for doing something that, actually worked.
Nice. Shootout,
yeah.
My number 9 is WWE 13.
Oh, yeah.
Apostrophe 13, I should say. Just had another go at the old attitude mode. I talked about it a few weeks ago. It's all the old school stuff from the late 90s, which is when I was big into WWE, as are many people of my age. And it's just really nicely done. The game itself is a little bit wonky, as I said. Always has been, ever since. There's still animations in this game that are from the very first SmackDown game, which is, I think, 13 years old now. Which is astonishing, really. There's still some of those canned animations in there. But, it's fun. It's fun. You play through the stuff that happened, has some really nice video packages to back it all up, and it's just a really good nostalgia trip. It's the best one of those games in a long, long time. The main part of the game that's not the attitude mode is it is what it is. I don't really follow WWE anymore. I know who the people are. But, the attitude mode it's a really cool mode, and I'd imagine that game is already a lot cheaper than it was. So if you're from the school of people who used to love wrestling back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and I know there's plenty of people who are, it is worth checking out.
Yeah, I've always liked those games, but they've never. It's a series that I've always been waiting to sort of become great, because they changed so much every year, and every year wasn't. Although that most of the core modes are always there, it always felt like they were trying to bring you something different each time. The actual game was always kind of solid, but no greater than that. And
yeah, I think in order to make it as good as it possibly could be, it cost a hell of a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
I think it's just like one of those cash cows that they can only spend a certain amount on it in order for it to keep turning a profit. And for THQ, they need stuff like that, definitely.
Yeah, really.
So but it's cool. It's definitely the best one that they've done in a long time.
Okay, fair play. My number 9 is Halo Reach.
Oh, no way. You finally went back to it?
Yeah, it's constantly sitting. It's been sitting on my shelf ever since it came out, and for some reason, I don't know why, but I think the achievement was in the Halo 3 as well. But the achievement in Halo Reach for doing it on Legendary just on your own, There's something really inviting about that. Because of how sophisticated the AI is, there is actually some kind of that is actually an achievement. It's you can't work around it like doing COD on hard. It's complicated. So I've always wanted to do that, but I've put it to bed completely. I turned it off, deleted it from my hard drive. I played it for 40 minutes. I must have died over 100 times. It's the hardest Halo game. Anybody who thinks that Halo 4 is difficult on Legendary, play Halo Reach for 5 seconds. It makes a mockery of Halo 4. An
Really?
absolute mockery. I mean, as much as I love Reach, it does one thing that I think is just unforgivable, and I think I've spoke about this before, but one-shot kills.
They do that in 4 as well.
That never happened to me in 4.
Really?
No,
It
that's
happened to me a few times in 4.
something that I'm militantly against. I'm just like, that's just bad design.
Yeah.
Because it's not you weren't playing the game properly or you weren't using cover when you were supposed to. It's not what the hell. The AI was just a good shot. It's like that, there's nothing you can do. And I was in this area towards the end, and that's what really bothered me. I'd slogged through the whole thing, and the AI is still absolutely incredible. And whilst I think 343 came close to replicating it in Halo 4, it's not the same. And just I was impressed by it as impressed as I've ever been, whilst at the same time being fucking furious. And I just turned it off like, I'm done. I think it's a little too difficult. I mean, I did the same scenario probably. I dread to think how many times. Almost 100 before I progressed to the next bit, and then I died another 30, 40 times. So I was just like, I'm done. It's too difficult. But what a fantastic game. It's just.
Yeah, I did reach on Legendary on co-op, and with a couple of skulls on as well. And I've talked about this before. It was awesome. But it really is built for co-op. The Legendary on that game, it felt it's trying to do it on your own just too hard.
Well, I mean, the scenario that I kept doing, I tried absolutely every possible technique. Everything I tried, and it just was like, life's too short for this.
It is, especially with the amount of games that we have to get through.
Yeah, but it was nice to put it to bed. I still have utmost respect for it. I think that game is phenomenal, but it's good to not have it hanging over me.
Yeah, that is nice to be able to tick stuff off the list. I've actually made a list on my computer now of games. I've always thought about doing this, and I've actually done it, of stuff like must play, then second priority, all the way down to get rid of.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I've done that, because I'll just keep adding indie games that you talk about to the bottom of the list, and
true that.
Just live in a constant purgatory. My number 8 is my boy Dikembe Mutmbo, 4.5 Weeks to Save the World.
Hey, you're still playing it?
Episode 2. Yeah, I thought, the whole game is actually a completely different game to episode 1, which is brilliant. It's like a mine cart. You can switch between the levels, and you're in a mine cart. Again, the preamble to it is hilarious. It's all about Thanksgiving, so you've got your mate Science the Bear in the pullover, and then a random turkey who's also eating turkey. Again, I can't do it justice. It's just really funny, and you have to go to like the equivalent of a Furby factory and kill all these Furbies. And halfway through, Dikembe finds out that Hostess Snacks has been shut down, so he gets really upset and he's crying while throwing Twinkies at these Furbies. Everyone play it. There's nothing bad about it. It's really funny. The game itself is really fun, and it lasts about 4 minutes. Play it.
How are they funding it?
It's Old Spice.
Oh, of course, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to look into that.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, my number 8 is Under Defeat HD on the Xbox 360. Have you heard of this?
A shooter?
It's a shooter. It's a port of a very
Dreamcast.
rare Dreamcast. That's right.
Yeah.
Helicopter. You're a helicopter.
Yeah, I played it actually. I've actually played quite a lot of it.
What, the new one or
The original?
Oh, really?
Yeah, back at when I worked at Imagine, the guy who runs Retro Gamer was big into his Dreamcast shooters, and he always used to get whichever ones came out. And I knew I remembered the name, and when he said helicopter, I played loads of it.
Yeah,
it's good.
It is very good. I mean, I haven't played it anywhere near enough, and I shouldn't have bought it. But games like that, I'm a complete sucker for. So as soon as I saw it, I had to have it. But despite having way too much other shit on my plate at the minute, and after New Year, I'll be able to get it for half price. But nevertheless, I've played it for a short while. It's very good. It's fucking hard. I mean, like ridiculously difficult. But that's why I love those games. I'm looking forward to in the new year. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to absolutely smash it. So there's not much to say. It's what the fuck? It's an uppity.
It's an uppity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell are they called? I can't remember what they're called. It's a shooter that goes uppity. It's like a cave shooter, but it's nowhere near as relentlessly quirky, loud, and it's not bullet hell really because there's not that many bullets on screen. But you only have 3 lives, and it's as I said, incredibly difficult, incredibly fun. And I'll talk more about it when I've actually given it some proper session.
Have you sacked off that Cinemora then?
No, no, I haven't, but I will go back to that.
It's tough though, isn't it? That's why I've got the list.
Yeah.
The list of champs.
There's no point in keeping a list because it's just one day it'll be sitting on my hard drive and I go, fuck, I'll stick it on. Trying to sort of maintain order is a fruitless exercise, boy.
I'm sure it will be, but I'll keep everyone informed. I'm sure people don't give a shit. My number 7 is Rabbids Land on Nintendo Wii U.
Oh yeah.
You talked about it last week, didn't you? Briefly.
I only played it a very, very little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very good at all. It's a party game based around the Mario Party idea, like you said last week. Board game, roll the dice, get a mini game, people play. But for some reason, even as a 4-player game, none of the mini games support more than 2 players, which is criminal, really. For what is TAT, essentially. And you could at least all play together. So if you did have 4 people playing all at the same time, half the time there's 2 people just sat there doing nothing the whole game. The mini games themselves, they're fine, they work, but there's nothing that hasn't been done on a DS, really. It's just like, moving it and blowing on the screen or drawing a little line to make a character move. Nothing as exciting as stuff that was happening on the Wii, even, when you're actually getting up and being physical in the room. I don't think the Wii U's really designed for that type of party game. There's nothing... I haven't played Nintendo Land yet, but I've read a lot about it and about how, the whole concept is one person has their own private view on the action, which is different to everybody else's in a lot of those games. And I think that seems to be the secret to doing these kind of multiplayer party games on that console. This doesn't really do that. There are things where... one guy has a different view to the other, but it doesn't really make any difference, and the games are so basic. It is put together reasonably well, and it does work. And I'd imagine playing through it a few times, you could have fun. So it's not like a travesty, but we don't get it because it's the same price as Nintendo Land.
Yeah, blatantly.
Which I haven't played, but I know it's better.
It's funny because I played it for a short while, and the game, I mean, it's reasonably well produced and everything. It's they spent a little bit of money on it, and the one game that I remember playing was you were driving. It looked very much like Mario Kart, but these guys were throwing stuff at you, and the rear view mirror was on the pad. Oh no, sorry. Yeah. What you were driving on the pad, and the TV screen showed what was getting thrown, which was quite neat.
It's cool, but it's not clever. It's just kind of cool. Whereas as far as I'm aware, the stuff in Nintendo Land is actually like specific, like gameplay specific stuff, the different views. Whereas this doesn't really make any difference to how the game's played. Yeah,
it's just cosmetic. But I was like, that's a nice touch. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it based on what I've played. But then again, I was never really that much of a fan of Mario Party anyway. So
no, me neither. But this isn't as good as them, mainly because those games supported all the players at once. Yeah, you could all play. So that's that. When I couldn't believe it, and then I did a bit of reading around it, and I was like, oh, that's really fucking shithouse. Don't get it. Don't get Rabbids Land.
Genuine. Okay, all right. My number 6 is PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale on the PS3.
I'm kind of interested in this game,
it's. I'm still pretty undecided on it at this point. My problem really is that, I mean, everyone knows it's clearly inspired by Super Smash Brothers, and it's. I expected something a little bit more, some new angle, some kind, but it is just a remix of Smash Brothers, almost to the note. I mean, I need to play it some more, and it was fun. It was kind of like Smash Brothers in that it was fun. I mean, that game's just fun anyway. But it's hard to know what to say about it. I was just like, this is I mean, there's some really cool combos and stuff, and You can tell that if you're a hardcore fighting game fan, that there is lots to get your teeth into. Unlike perhaps Smash Brothers, it's more complex than Smash Brothers, sort of under the hood. But there's a very weird. The presentation's very odd. I ended up thinking back to Twisted Metal, which was also this year, I think, earlier this year, wasn't it? That looked like $1 million. I mean, considerably more than $1 million. But they spent so much money, and it was so lavish and rich, and just it felt like a big blockbuster. Whereas this, which seems like a safer bet financially, the opening cutscene's like snazzy as fuck, and it looks incredible. And then there are levels you play sometimes. You're like, this looks really cheap. And I swear to God, my feeling overall at the end of when I put the pad down was that it could very, very easily have been a downloadable game.
Right.
Because there's not much. It's not. I mean, there's a lot going on, obviously, but it looks at times like a downloadable game. Not to its detriment. It never looks bad. It just looks kind of basic. The menus are basic.
Is it full price?
Oh yeah. I mean,
it is full price.
To be fair, you get the Vita version with it, and there's cross-platform play on it, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's I pissed around with some characters. There's a nice spread of characters. There's a lot of range characters and a lot of. I used Raiden from Metal Gear Rising, and he was it's all melee combat, and the big super moves that you build up a sort of super special meter 1, 2, 3. So the more powerful, the longer it takes to build up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And some of those are really cool. You turn into a massive robot. Or, it's good. It's just I wanted a spin of some kind, and I don't think this puts a spin on it. Really, it is what you expect it to be. It's Smash Brothers, but with a bit of a lick of paint on it.
Yeah, I just do quite fancy a Raz on it at some point, but tough to put down the money when, as we keep saying, there's just too much to play. Yeah,
I'd say it's a good production, and I think people who have a PlayStation and they like the look of it, they will enjoy it because it does do what it does very well. It's just, for me, I wanted something that wasn't just a rip-off.
Sure.
To be fair, I need to play it some more, but at the moment, I think it's good, but I'm not overwhelmed by any stretch.
Okay. So my number 6 is a game that I'm sure is higher on your list. It's Far Cry 3, which I've just done a little bit more of it on the version that I played for review, and then I got hold of a 360 copy, so I popped it in just to see if there's any difference, because I did it on PS3 originally, and it's like ever so slightly smoother on 360, almost negligible. Probably on different TVs even it would look better on PS3, but not like the wide disparities that there used to be back in the day. Again, it would be nice if somehow you could get the PC version working on an Xbox 360, but that ain't gonna happen. It's awesome, but like I say, I'm sure you're going to talk about it in depth later, so I'll save it for then.
All right. Okay, my number 5 is The Walking Dead, episode 5.
Oh, nice.
It's it's a landmark, and I think that people who make games that are in any way similar to it should sort of take it as sort of pages of the Bible at this point, because it is an incredible achievement what they've done.
Yeah.
And it was another great episode, incredibly well paced. That's what the one thing that's really got me about all of these episodes, is that they're so well paced. It is like a comic book or an episode of the TV program. They're just. I began, for some reason I began thinking of Vanquish, because Vanquish is a shooter, obviously completely different, but it was a game that felt to me like it was dodging bullets. But it's creative bullets. So a game as fast-paced and as frantic as Vanquish, it could have become monotonous. It could have become repetitive. All of these things, but it never did. And this, all of the bullets that they managed to dodge, the fact that they we should have seen stereotypical characters. The action should have been hackneyed and familiar, and it should have got maudlin and sentimental, and it never really did. And it's just it's a real achievement for the guys that wrote it. It really is something very, very special. And this episode had great moments of suspense. There was a great moment of suspense in the opening, just based around a ladder. Tiny moment, like a tiny moment in the scene. I was like, oh, that's so effectively done. There was another fantastic action scene, which was just great. And the ending was pretty much perfect.
Yes.
It was bleak as fuck, but it was not. It wasn't. What's the fucking word?
I don't know, but do you know what I mean when I said last week that they still managed to maintain a kind of air of amiability about the whole thing, despite being extremely bleak?
I'm not sure I do. How do you mean amiable?
Amiable is probably not the right word either. Throughout the whole thing, there's a kind of just a charisma to it, I guess. That, you know, as opposed to something like The Road, is what I compared it to. You know, there's another apocalyptic tale which is just relentlessly harsh, and there's no light whatsoever. There is enough light throughout the Walking Dead that it just kind of lends it a bit more. Yeah, I think charisma. I think that's the word that I'm after. A little bit more likability. You know, everything's awful, but there's enough levity at times, very small amounts, that just gives the characters a bit more depth, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I did find that. I thought it was. I mean, I never. The Road is an example which is quite extreme. So it's definitely not on the same pitch as that. But it was, and the thing is that when anything gets vaguely manipulative, I always react negatively to it. I mean, it's everything's manipulation, but when it becomes, I was afraid that they were going to just go manipulative and try and sort of lend weight to the experience unnecessarily by sort of milking it a little bit. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that, and it really did. I mean, it's genuinely affecting, and that in itself is incredible. It is. I mean, it is heavy though, man. I mean, that night I had the most ferociously shit scary nightmares.
Really?
All based around kind of sort of things that are seen in the game. And it was...
Yeah, I had scary zombie dreams after finishing them too.
No, I didn't. There was no zombies in mine. It was just all about me trying to pay someone to blow my head off, and it was really, really... It was really weird anyway, but it was it was directly inspired by the game because... Yeah, everybody has to play it. And as I said, I think if you make games like this is a landmark.
Well, it won the VGA Game of the Year award, didn't it? And say what you want about those awards, they are a bit, whatever, they're a bit of fun as far as I'm concerned. But people listen to that. You know, that is actually a prestigious award that can be used as a marketing tool in the same way that, I mean, Oscars can, not to the same extent, but it is a significant award that matters. And the fact that it's won that over, you know, traditional big games is amazing, really.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that. That's good for them.
Yeah, it's just great. I mean, as I said before, I listened to that podcast forever, and those two guys that wrote the game and directed basically all of it. It's just, I feel like I know them, and you can kind of see their personality coming through a little bit in it as well. And just kind of made up for them, even though I don't know them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a phenomenal game, and it's for me. It superseded Heavy Rain, which was a game that when I was playing, a room full of people got completely involved in. But this is a different kettle of fish. It's a landmark, I think, genuinely. And if you haven't played it, for goodness sake, sort it out.
Yes,
it's on enough platforms.
I agree with you on the Heavy Rain tip as well.
Genuine.
Cool. Right, my number 5 is. Mario Twins, Mario on the bloody Wii U. I've lost count of the amount of times I've had to replay the same levels because I always forget that it doesn't autosave. Just I don't know why, even though I know it doesn't. Always turn it off. I think it's because I'm playing it mainly just on the screen, and I'm used to just being able to hit standby on a handheld, and it just goes to sleep. And then obviously, so I keep doing that. And honestly, I've done the same levels in that bloody icy place 20 times. I've done some of those levels. And I got stuck in that ghost house for ages, but then I finally worked it out, which was tremendous, and the game is tremendous. And yeah, onto the soda jungle now. Just keep stepping up, and I think it's going to take me a long time to get through, but I'll keep returning to it and keep enjoying it. We talked about why it's so good, but I think everybody knows if a 2D Mario game is great, you know why it's great.
Yeah.
You've played it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you've played, I mean, the thing is, the last 3DS one, Super Mario Wii 2, no, 3DS, I can't even remember.
Super Mario Brothers 2, I think.
Yeah, is that all it was? Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
That was good, in places very good. In places superb, but just it wasn't consistent like this is consistent. This is like an old school Mario game where the quality is there almost throughout. So yeah, it's a bit potentially a classic. I'm going to continue with it.
Yeah, I mean, they only really start to reveal their true quality once you beat them, don't they? And then you start to pull away all the secrets and extra levels and all that sort of stuff. So I do feel like I'll get there on this one. I haven't done that on a Mario game for ages. Even the Galaxies, I haven't got to that sort of level with them. So yeah, not since 64. So yeah, exciting. Hopefully, anyway. Yeah, that's what happens.
It's very good. If anyone's written it off for just being a 2D Mario game, it's that's a shame because it is special.
Yes.
What was that? Your number?
That's 5 for me.
Okay. Okay. Right. Sorry. Yeah. Walking Dead was my number 6. Sorry. So my number 5 is Aliens Colonial Marines on the PC. I think I played the PC version.
Okay.
I didn't play. It was under embargo. I played it a couple of weeks ago, but I can talk about it now. It's funny because the section of the game that I played, I saw at E3 2 years ago.
Right.
With Randy Pitchford doing backflips with enthusiasm. He was literally bouncing off the walls with enthusiasm. And now loads of people I've seen have posted videos of this section. So if you want to see what it is, you can see. Basically, if you're a fan of Aliens, there are so many, even in this 20-minute, 30-minute opening, so many references to Aliens, it's not even funny. It is brilliant. I mean, you get to do the walk up to the colony entrance like they do in Aliens, and then you see where they found Newt in the fuck. My brain is just fucked today. What is those pipes in the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, you climb through them in every game ever made.
Vents.
No. What is it? Vents? No, it's something. Fuck it, I can't remember. Holes in the wall that are pipes but big and square.
Vents.
Why am I thinking this? They're called something else.
They're called vents. Air vents.
Air vents, that'll do. Okay. You see the laboratory where they kept all the face huggers with that famous jump moment where Ripley's there and it just sort of jumps out of her.
Is Paul Reiser in it?
Unfortunately not. There's you get the guns all sound perfect. At one point you're given Vasquez's gun with that. Everyone cheered when we saw it at E3 when that came up. And yeah, they've got the turrets. They deliberately show you that tunnel. The deleted scene from Aliens, which is one of the best scenes in it, and nobody ever knows why they cut it out. Where they're watching those drone turrets deplete in ammunition. That you walk through there and then you have to position. I mean, but all of that stuff is wicked. I'm kind of worried by the fact that this is the only section anyone's seen. So whether they manage to keep up the momentum, because it is just cool. You're like, wow, this is like playing a proper, authentic Aliens game. Whether they maintain that, whether they're hiding the fact that they can't maintain it, or whether they do, it's no one's seen anything apart from this section. And we didn't see the Wii U version, which is the one they're saying is definitive, and I wanted to see the most. It plays exactly like it looks. It's not going to change the world. It's a very enjoyable, very solid, but very familiar first-person shooter.
Yeah.
It's if you watch gameplay footage, that's the game you're going to get. The references are fantastic, and it is fun. It's a slick, and it works. But the buttons all do the same. You're still doing QTEs to cut through doors and stuff. I mean, you've done it all before. I mean, I'm excited for it because I'm a massive fan of Aliens, and if they keep that momentum going throughout at least the most of the game, that will sort of carry you through. But you're still meleeing aliens in the face. Which is always just like, there's got to be a different way to deal with it because there's meant to be these unbelievably the most just killing machines, and the fact that you're whacking them in the face with the butt of your gun and they're just sort of, I think blood was coming out, acid or rather, and nothing happened.
Right.
Maybe that'll change. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm not 100% certain it's going to be amazing. Far from it. I think it's going to be solid. If it maintains that pace, it's going to be enjoyable. But I don't think it's going to change the world. And I didn't try multiplayer, so I don't know how that is either.
Yeah, I watched the videos. In fact, that everybody seemed to put out in the last couple of days, and that was the impression I got from watching it. Obviously, you can't judge a game from watching, but I'm not a massive fan of Aliens. I really like Aliens, so I don't have that kind of fanboy spine tickle feeling that you get, that some people will get. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to do it for me. I'm sure I'll end up playing it. I may end up reviewing it for somebody, and we'll probably enjoy it. But yeah, it's not something that gets me pumped.
Yeah, it's annoying because it is good, and I don't want to undersell it, but
Yeah.
you've played that game before. It's one of those games that's good. I mean, if the COD buttons, it feels like COD. It's slightly slower. You move slightly slower, obviously. But yeah, it's good. But I'm worried about it being any better than that at the moment. And I'd love it to be amazing. But then again, there's going to be big action set pieces. We've seen none of that. It's just running around hitting switches and looking at things that were in the movie at the moment. Fun, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Like I say, just. Not pumped. I'm sure I'll end up playing it. My number 4 is 4. It's 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
Is Bayonetta. Weirdly, I'm reviewing another game that's similar. So I wanted to compare it to Bayonetta, and I never actually finished Bayonetta, and I didn't have a copy in the house. So I went out and managed to find one on 360 for £4, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think when I did the review, I did it on debug or something, so I didn't have a save or anything, so I started again from the beginning. And man, so good. I could do without the really long cutscenes. The humour of the game is cool, but it kind of drags a little bit. But when the combat starts, it's fucking breathtaking. Like it's so good, almost to the point of being perfect. And stuff just keeps happening. Bosses come out of nowhere. I'm still only, I think, about sort of maybe 3 hours into it or something. It feels completely fresh, even though I played all of this stuff before. And that's almost like jumped up to the list of stuff that I need to get through now. I'm going to play through the rest of it very, very soon because, it just feels completely fresh. It feels like I just bought a brand new game that I never played before, even though I'd done quite a lot of it. Most of it, in fact. And now excited that the fact that Bayonetta 2 is going to come out on Wii U, which is really cool because I don't know, it didn't really do much for me, that announcement, when it first happened. For some reason, I think I got too annoyed by people moaning about, why is it on Wii U? Oh, why isn't it on Xbox? And I just kind of distracted from the fact that a fucking cool game's going to come out. And Bayonetta, man, it's sweet.
It's another game that's still on my shelf. It isn't going anywhere until I go back to it.
Stick it in. Stick it in. Because as soon as I started that first proper ruck, I was like, damn, I could just sit here and play this whole game through without moving quite happily right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's.
Yeah,
see, that's what
I had the same thing. It was just 2 years. I didn't actually have it, but I knew the same thing as you. Just like, I want to do it, but sometimes you got to leap.
That's what I mean, though. That's why I would never make a list, because one day I'm going to think, I fancy some Bayonetta. I know that day's going to come, so it's there for then.
I'll delete the list within 2 weeks, I'm sure. Genuine.
Yeah, good move. Okay, well, my number 4 is Black Ops 2 on the Nintendo Wii U.
Oh, yeah.
Been playing a lot of it online. Me and my girlfriend played it over the weekend, and I won't say much about it. I spoke about it last week, but it's so cool. It really is. It's one of you's playing on the pad, one of you's on the TV, and even when you're on the pad, you feel like you've got so much more screen than if you had half of a massive. If it was split screen on a massive TV. It's strange like that. And there's something, the community is just so much better. It's predominantly people who don't play Call of Duty. So I do all right. My girlfriend did quite good. And it's just fun. It's slick. And it is just a straight port of the 360 version. There are a couple of incredibly minor frame rate dips in the campaign. But again, same thing with Batman. I only noticed them during cutscenes. And, that's, if it was during gameplay, that's a problem. It isn't. So that's fair enough. It's the version of Black Ops as far as I'm concerned. The only thing I feel sorry for is the kids who they've upgraded from a Nintendo Wii to a Wii U. There's lots of them apparently, because I've somehow happened upon this conversation about the fact that they're getting annihilated because they've spent years playing COD with the Wiimote and nunchuck.
Of course, yeah.
And I tried it, and it's like it works. You can a little bit of practice, and you'd be quite good at it. But that's no match for someone playing on a pad.
No.
So they're gonna. I think there's talk of them somehow modifying it so they've got a bit more of an advantage to try and sort of cancel that out.
Right.
I feel a bit sorry for them because their COD has kind of been taken over by all these scumbags using pads. But Yeah.
You ruined it for him.
Exactly, I feel bad for him, but it's it's fantastically good, and I have not. Although there's considerably less people online, I've never had a problem getting a game, not once.
Yeah, as I said before, that the idea of almost playing any game that I play at the moment, I'm like, damn, this would be good on Wii U because I just want to play it on the screen, sat on the sofa where people are doing other things, I do really need to get hold of that and just. Yeah, it's the thought of session that multiplayer just sat there, all on the screen, beautiful.
Yeah, and it's not as oppressive as the 360 version.
Yeah.
Where you've got all those guys that are just fucking ridiculously good at it and spend hours on it. But also something awesomely cool happened at the weekend. Saturday afternoon, I went onto Miiverse, and I put a message saying, "Look, Kill Confirmed." No one was playing Kill Confirmed, so I said, "Look, Kill Confirmed is like Team Deathmatch but better. I'll be on at 8 o'clock this evening, GMT UK time or whatever." And there was I turned it on and there was 40 people playing it. So we jumped in and had a load of games. I mean, I got loads of likes and stuff from it, so I know that people had read it. But whether one thing influenced it, I like to think that things like that are just going to happen all the time on the Wii U.
That's very cool. I mean, I've no doubt that probably influenced some people, and then suddenly, I guess if the people see there's people in that lobby, then it will grow naturally beyond that. But yeah, it's Miiverse rules.
Yeah, it does. And I hope that more people get COD for Christmas, because there are some game types which are just permanently at zero, which is a shame. But great port.
Yeah, man. I've not played it at all this week, so yeah, I've kind of fallen out of love with it already.
Genuine. Yeah, so had I a little bit.
Doing it on Wii U, like I said.
Yeah.
My number 3 is an online game as well. It's Guardians of Middle-earth on Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah, what is it?
Do you know what a MOBA is?
Isn't that... No, I don't. Fuck it.
Yeah. I can't remember what it stands for, but you've heard of Dota 2, League of Legends.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. They're MOBAs, and I didn't know what they were, really. They're actually really, really fucking simple. Basically, 2 teams of 5. It's RTS, but you only control one character. You have to kill the towers of the other team. This is the same across all these types of games, I think. And you need to use teamwork to do it. There's 3 lanes in the map. You can go down the middle or you can go down the sides. And there's little interlocking stuff in between where you can go and find little power-ups and things like that. But mainly, you're coming head-to-head in these lanes. There's loads of little minions that you have that you don't control, that you kind of team up with. And it's like a really rapid action RTS that's heavy on strategy, but more the type of strategy that you'd find in a shooter, strangely, just like quick fire, go there, do this type of stuff over the mic. Very cool. As far as I've not played Dota or League of Legends, and this is the first one I played, it kind of acts as like my first MOBA. It introduces you to the mechanics. It's all Lord of the Rings, obviously, so you've got Gandalf and Gollum and all these people in there. By all other accounts, by people who do know this scene, this is a very good and capable MOBA. It basically completely copies what's already on the PC, but puts good console controls on there. And the weird thing is, even though it's a game style that seemed completely unappealing to me, when I was playing it, I was like, I tell you what, if all of us got it, we would have a right laugh on it, because they're really fucking good. But trying to convince everyone to play a game that's so unusual compared to what we normally play is probably tough. But really, really nice, man. If you're interested in trying to work out what a MOBA is, or whether you'll like them, but are a bit intimidated by the likes of League of Legends and Dota, and by all accounts the communities on there aren't very nice. The fucking guy from the World of Warcraft episode of South Park, I think, times a million, and then a bunch of crazy Taiwanese people. But everybody, when I was playing it, I got the feeling that nobody really knew what they were doing, so we're all learning it together, and nobody really minded, oh no, this guy died or whatever. It's not like anyone was getting too het up about it. And it's nice. It was made by Monolith, the people who did Fear.
Oh yeah.
It's a high quality game. The only real problem is there was a bit of lag for some reason, which didn't seem like it should be lag, and it took fucking ever to find the games, like 5 to 7 minutes, which is ridiculous. But hopefully that'll sort itself out.
Yeah, hopefully teething problems.
Yes, because I'm sure plenty of people have bought it. I'm sure enough people that it shouldn't be like that. But yeah, I don't know.
I was going to say, because League of Legends is so ridiculously massive.
Yes, exactly.
That you'd think that this could potentially be quite big.
Yeah, especially with the Lord of the Rings license attached to it and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's not been marketed hugely well, but then again, League of Legends wasn't marketed at all, and that's the biggest game in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have a look at the trial. I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know anything about that genre, and I want to know. So I might have a look.
It would be good to do. I don't know what the trial's like, but it'd be good to do that just so you can get an understanding and go, okay, I understand what these games are now. So when you see people talking about them and such, it's all about the character. You level up your character in each game, so it's not like a persistent character that levels up between games. You really quickly level the guy up by doing well in that match, and then it's like you're trying to get him to the maximum level by like taking out towers, doing things, and then you quickly unlock more and more powers, and then next match you're back down to 1. So it's almost like every match is its own individual board game almost. It's cool. I can see why people like it. I don't think it's necessarily for me, but I'm glad I know what it is now.
Yeah. I think I might have a look at the trial just to get some kind of idea. 1,200 points, I take it.
Yeah, it's 1,200, but it does feel worth it. It feels like a proper game. It feels like a game that they could have probably justified a full price release for.
Wow. Okay, cool. Okay, my number 3 is Zombie U on the Nintendo Wii U,
which is my number 2.
Okay, I haven't been. I'll leave the campaign. I haven't played any campaign. I've just been playing the multiplayer, the local multiplayer. Have you tried it?
Oh shit, no, I haven't. I forgot it was even on there.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I had a look because I wanted to see what it was like. And what started out at first, I was like, "This is complete rubbish. Why did they even bother including this?" And now, after a while, once you get used to how it works, I was like, "This is actually quite a neat little addition." The only thing that would have made it better is if it was online and there was more players allowed. But the concept's quite neat. It's one of you's on the screen with a pad, guy with a gun, and you're running around. It's just the main mode is basically conquest with you capturing these points.
Okay.
But the zombies can capture the points also, and the other player is looking at the gamepad and sort of an overhead map, and they decide what kind of zombies spawn and where. So if they see that you're capturing a point, you're going to run to the next one. They can sort of dot all these zombies. You can only have 8 zombies on screen at a time.
Right.
But at first I was like, "This is rubbish." Because I was using the screen, and I was just like, my girlfriend was using the pad, and it was just like, it felt like completely disposable, and like they didn't have time to flesh it out. But when we switched roles, and she was on the pad, and she kept fucking me over. I mean, completely just being clever about where you place the zombies. Knowing where the ammo is. The ammo's on the map as well. So if you don't get a lot of ammunition, you end up getting stitched up and stuck. It actually became really, really, really entertaining. The only way, like I said, it would have been better if you could have 3 guys and maybe more zombies on screen. But it's just 1v1. But it's a nice little addition, man. It's like it's actually not bad at all.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I don't know if I'll get a chance to play that really, but yeah, that does sound cool.
It is. Overwhelmingly so. It's another case where just like it could have been something that I thought they just tossed it on there as like, "Oh yeah, we've got multiplayer on here," but it's actually damn good. It's really good. I have to say.
Yeah, cool. And that kind of moves into me talking about the campaign, which I've done more of. It's still a game that I can't play for the long stretches because I still find it so stressful. But I tell you what, going back into it after not having played it for a few days was terrible because I kind of lost my muscle memory for it a little bit. So I suddenly got confronted by a bunch of zombies, and my character, Lola Hunt, who'd done so well, just got fucking butchered because I'd forgotten how to get the cricket bat out. I just lost it, basically. I lost my cool. But then I started to put it all together, and brilliantly, the next character it spawned also had the same surname, Hunt. So in my mind, that's her husband. Right. And so he had to go and kill his wife. This is all my own like meta game that I've created in my mind, but it kind of added an extra layer to it. And just still moving through the campaign slowly but surely. So stressful. Such a cool game mechanically, atmospherically. Definitely up there for some of the best stuff I played this year. Whether I enjoy it, I don't know, because it's so unpleasant to play that I don't know if I could say I'm having fun necessarily, but I'm really captivated and enthralled by it. And I probably will try and get to the end next week. I'm getting to the point where I can feel reasonably confident of my abilities when faced by zombies now. Now that I've had that moment where I was fucking up, but apart from that, whereas at the beginning, just even one zombie was terrifying to me. Now I'm a bit more confident, but you never know. That's the beauty of it. Even if you think it's just one, you've still got to keep your wits about you, like you said last week, because some little fucker might appear around the corner and snatch you up. Yeah. But yeah, we kind of waxed lyrical about it already, this game. But what a great launch game!
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Far smarter and aware of what the hardware is than most launch games. Yes. Nintendo launch games especially.
And I learned today that it was previously like a space alien game, and they changed what it was halfway through development.
Yeah, to be honest, I realised that not long ago as well, because I was at Ubisoft and they showed us this game, their big Wii U game, and it was called something really like
Creatures from Outer Space, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And they showed us this miniature trailer, and it was all brightly coloured, and it was all, so it looked like a comedy game.
Right.
So for it to change from that to this, yeah, quite odd.
Yeah, really.
I'm surprised you're not enjoying it, though. I mean, that's a crazy thing to say.
But do you know what I mean by that? I am enjoying it, but I'm not having fun. You know, like when you play Mario, it's fun. This is more like, fucking hell, this is an absolute ordeal. But I've always liked horror games, and I've always liked being in that sort of ordeal.
Yeah. No, okay, I suppose I get you.
You know, because the mechanic, like the actual hitting with the cricket bat, isn't actually that fun. It's not like a game like Condemned or even Dishonored, where it's fun to smack them about and there's different moves or anything like that. It's just like, fuck off. So,
I think it's quite good because you've got to master the timing. You've got to move back in and forth, and then when there's several at once, it's managing that. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah. Oh, it is cool. I definitely like the fact that it's like that. But in other games, you're like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking badass. But here's just, and the way it uses the sound effects, the breathing and the screaming of the player character when you're fucking fighting the zombies is magnificent. And there's such a cool set piece in like a house party a bit later on. I don't know if you've got to it. I won't say anything more than that. It's just really just one of those nice little moments that game designers get right sometimes that I was just like, yes, that was really fucking cool.
Yeah, no, hell of a game. Okay, my number 2 is Nintendo Land on the Nintendo Wii U. It's funny how everybody you hear speaking about it has always got a favourite game, and it's always completely different. Like, I've heard people say that their favourite is every game in it, more or less, apart from the fucking rhythm action ones, which is no one's favourite. But for me, it was Yoshi, the Yoshi drawing a root thing, but now it's Metroid Blast.
See, no, I've not even heard anyone say that that's their favourite.
It's it's absolutely phenomenal. Metroid Blast is fantastic. I'm sure I spoke about it when I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. But basically, one of you's flying around in a little spaceship on the gamepad. The other one's on the TV with a Wiimote and nunchuck. Basically, first-person shooter with the old Metroid controls. The Wii one, Corruption. Was it? And they dump you into an area. Sometimes it's boss battle. Sometimes it's kill all the enemies. Sometimes it's pick up all these coins before the time runs out. Very, very simple, but just the mechanics of play are just joyous. I swear to God, it's just so much fun. And there's a lot of content as well. When we thought we'd got to the end, a new menu opens up and there's harder levels. Loads of hard levels. I was like, that's what you want. We spent hours playing it. It's just, she's my girlfriend was upstairs, shooting from the sky, and then I'm sort of hook-shotting around using, what's that move? Is it Screw Attack? The Metroid thing?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, I'm pulling myself around. And sometimes it's just, we can work separately, and other times, as it progresses, you have to work as a team. And there's something, it's such a tiny thing, but there's something so incredibly joyous about me. I can hook shot onto the bottom of her spaceship, so she's flying around shooting, and I'm underneath, sort of shooting the enemies that she can't see. And it's so wicked. I love it so much. I really do. I mean, I could have played. Well, we did fucking play it almost all of Saturday, and I hope. Well, it's never going to be a full game in this form, but God, it's good. It really is fucking wonderful. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the best game on the disc by far, I think.
Damn, I have Nintendo Land now. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I'm probably going to have a quick bash on it on my own. See if my other half wants to play it. But it sounds like if the games are kind of 3D, more traditional, not traditional, more modern style games, they'll probably make her motion sick, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But my brother's going to come after Christmas, so I'm probably going to save it for then and sesh it all up then.
Yeah, it's all about two. If you've got two of you, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I don't want to burn out all the games on my own and go. It's a bit flat when I know that that's not what it's for.
Yeah, that's exactly. Stay away from it until you've got someone to play it with.
Yeah, like I say, I'll stick it on because I just want to look at it. But yeah, it's for then. But yeah, fucking cool.
Love
Wii U, love Wii U.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for the Wii U.
Sadly, my number one sucks really because it's not on Wii U, and I can't even really talk about it because it's completely under embargo, which sucks. But it's the game I played this week by a mile, so I had to say because it kind of explains why I've not played that much for the rest of the week. It's DMC Devil May Cry on PS3, which I've now finished. As I said, I'm under embargo, so I can't talk about it. I'd highly recommend people go and download the demo though, and all I'll say is be excited for the very beginning of next year because yes, I don't want to get in trouble, but yeah, be excited. Download the demo.
Yeah, well, if the demo's anything to go by, oh boy, I can't wait. I can't wait anyway. It's good. Yeah, well, I know you can't say anything more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could say a bit more, but be excited. Download the demo. I'll talk about it in fucking January, unfortunately, but I will talk about it at length.
Yeah, okay, genuine. My number one, by about several thousand miles, is Far Cry 3.
Cool.
I don't want to go on about it too long because you spoke about it.
Yeah, but I really want to hear what you have to say about it. I'm very, very interested.
Well, I mean, there's not much to say. I expected a masterpiece, and I knew after less than 3 hours that's what it was. It's everything I wanted. I don't think there's a game, possibly Rock Band Blitz, that I've had the highest of high expectations for, and yet it's just delivered with just complete sure-footed confidence, and it's breathtaking. It is just breathtaking. It's as good a stealth game as Dishonored, albeit in a completely different way. There's even platforming sections in it, which I mean, it's just a game. If you've ever liked a first-person shooter, just play it. It's a masterclass of design, and every little morsel in it. I'm towards the end of the game now, but I reckon I've done probably 70% of the entire thing, all of the side missions.
Yeah,
and they're all fun. There's nothing. It's like, what was the other example I said? It was a few weeks ago. It was a game where they'd taken so much time and effort into these little things that normally you wouldn't even bother with, and it's just it's phenomenal. And I feel so grateful that, because that's the other thing. I saw this 2 years ago behind closed doors, and it would look like it was almost finished. It looks pretty much like the game that's out now, but it's all about the AI really. And the ability to give you these scenarios. I mean, I had something happened that took, basically I was on a mission that was supposed to take 5 minutes. It ended up taking half an hour, and the stuff that happened in it was just amazing. It was absolutely incredible. I was doing this incredibly straightforward mission where I had to go and assassinate someone, and when the assassination missions in this, you have to kill someone with a machete.
Yeah.
So you have to get up close. Basically, it went on for half an hour, and I was backing away and going here and going there and trying to move around, and then reinforcements came. And basically, it got to one point where I was stuck in this hut, and I was like, I haven't got any I was trying to do my arm up with a bandage, which is the slow way of doing it if you haven't got a health pack.
Yeah.
So on times of this guy's running at me. One of the last guys is running at me with a machine gun. And I'm dead. I'm fucking dead after all that. And then a rabid dog jumped out of the underbrush and just took him down. Gave me enough time to re-heal myself and sort of melee him and get his ammo. And then some more, and then I went back to the area which I'd run away from, and then some more sort of henchmen came, killed all them, but then I ended up in the same situation again. I had no ammunition and I had no health, and there was 2 guys left, the target and one of his henchmen. So I just thought, fuck, I'm either going to die or I'm going to... Basically, I ran at the guy, the target, took him out with a machete, and then just kept on running while this guy was shooting, just gunning at me. I had basically no life left, and I just jumped off this rock and dived into the water and swam to safety. I was swimming for about 15 seconds. I was like, oh, I can't believe I survived that. when I came up, I bobbed my head out of the water, and I turned around, and the last guy was standing on the rock that I jumped off with his arms outstretched, going, "I'm gonna come back here, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And I was like, what an incredible series of things to have happened, and none of it was scripted. No, that's not an experience that anyone else. Well, someone else will have it, but it's speechless.
Yeah, that's the game. There you go. You summed it up there.
That's where all the time and the effort's gone, and I'd love to shake those guys by the hand, because fuck, I hope this sells as well as it appears to be. I hope it sells as well for them as it should, as it fucking deserves.
Yeah, I think it's picking up momentum as well. I talk to a lot of guys, as I say, sometimes outside of games journalism, which is a really good barometer, and a lot of guys are asking me about this game. I think they've done a good job marketing it. Also, it's got fucking killer reviews, which helps. And it does seem to be picking up momentum in a way that, a game like Dishonored or something, as well as that did, nobody in that circle of friends of mine was talking about Dishonored, really. Didn't know what it was, didn't care. But people are talking about this game. So, like you say, it doesn't even require much of a jump for anybody who's not used to games outside COD or FIFA either. It's just, it is very much a shooter. You can get your head around it straight away.
Yeah.
But it is all about those moments, and I only really started enjoying those types of moments when I'd finished my review, because I had to rush. It's just not one of those games that's very good for reviews, because I had to kind of concentrate on the story to make sure I'd seen everything, and I didn't play it in the pace that I would on my own. And as I said the other week, when I played it passing the pad with my brother, then we just started having a fucking ball, seeing all the crazy stuff that happened. And then he's gone and bought it since, and he told me about some situation where he had a similar thing in a camp liberation to what you just had, like massive gunfight, animals appearing, suddenly everything's on fire, just healing himself at a time, then sprints away, and then just getting away, just like trying to run away from the last guy, jumps into the water and straight into an alligator's mouth.
Yeah. That's God.
Yeah, superb. I'm really pumped. Like I said, I've got it on 360 now, and I'm pumped to just go back and do it all again. Going to have a different loadout this time, I think. So I did loads of it with the bow before, which is really cool. Yeah. But I'm going to try and use some other weapons this time. See what scenarios that throws up. Still think some of the story missions aren't amazing. A couple of them a bit too linear, but easier to not think about them when you're not trying to plough through them as I was on the review.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just you've got 3 days to play a game like Far Cry and write about it. That's just the way it goes. Sometimes you can't do it in the way that you play it at home.
Yeah, genuine. And it reminds me kind of like Arkham City in that it's so huge, but there's just a level of polish, even on the console versions, which, I mean, they're not. They're still stunning to look at. There's pop in here and there, and it's not as great as it obviously looks on PC. But the level of it's time and effort all the way through, and love, and it's classy. The music throughout it kind of, there's sort of action movie music, there's weird electro music, there's sort of strings and it's just a mad. The music's fantastic. It's just a mad. I fucked
up because I turned off the music because it was annoying me in just the ambient stuff, and I didn't realise there was like specific mission specific songs.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear any of that. So this time I'm going to keep the music on, and because everyone's like, "Oh man, why you turn the music off? There's all these amazing bits." So yeah, that's another cool reason to go through it again.
Yeah, and there's so much thought's gone into it. Like they've taken the classic Hollywood attitude towards a great villain, which is you'd never overexploit him or her. The amount of times I've gone back and rewatched a film that's got a great villain in it, and I'm left thinking, fuck, they were hardly in it at all. And the bad guy in Far Cry 3 is barely in it, but his presence hangs over the whole thing, and that's really clever. It's well written, and it's kind of a weird. I like that how it's just kind of weird and druggy and just. Yeah,
I do. Yeah, it's just like all fucking ayahuasca and the spirit plant and all that sort of stuff.
And that mad doctor, cool. The sort of the completely. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, the Terence McKenna, like it's cool.
It's unbelievable. Frankly, it's unbelievable. The only thing that I'm dreading finishing it, and I'm dreading the fact that Far Cry 4 is probably about 5 years away. But god damn it, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, Far Cry 4, all of that. Bring back the buddies. bring back the enemies that help each other out, then Dreamland.
That's not something I haven't missed anything from Far Cry 2.
No, just some of the moments I had in 2 where the buddy would come and save you, and you just end up like having your own amazing stories, like the one you talked about, but different because the buddy saving you and then him fucking dying, and that was awesome as well.
Yeah,
but
just a breathtaking game.
Yes.
Both of them were really.
Yeah. Yeah, damn. Yeah, I just want to go and put it on right now. That's what I want to do, which is probably what I'm going to do, because that's it. The end of the podcast. 41 episodes in the can. So we tell them what we're going to do over the holiday period? I think we should.
Yeah, go ahead.
You are forcing me to do another regular episode in 2012, despite having no games to talk about, because you've decided that you need to talk about some other games. So I'm going to end up packing my side with some high quality entertainment, I'm sure. So that'll be fun. We're also doing, we're recording tomorrow, but we'll be out later in the year, our top 10 or 20 underrated games of the year. Slightly different tack to what you might get from a normal list feature. Talking about stuff you might have missed, stuff that we think some of the other critics might have been a little harsh on. We'll explain it as we're doing it, but that should be fun. And then, of course, the format works so well for top 10 games of the year each, and it works so well that we're going to do it top 20 games of the year, and that will be right at the back end of the year. So pumped for that too. I think I've said about 420 games in my game of the year this year. So
yeah, same here.
It's going to be an interesting list, but it's been a great year. So, thanks for listening. As always, brilliant. Check out the website at thefiniteplaylist.com. Twitter's at John Denton, at Chet Roivas. We're on Stitcher. I don't know what it means. Facebook. Go on there. That's a thing. We're on YouTube as well. You should check that out. We're on fucking everything.
Yeah,
we're on Instagram though, but I don't know what we do on that. Thanks for listening. I'll stop talking now.
Yeah, please. All right, I'll see. Cheers for listening. See you later.
No, please. This time is going to be different. I'm sorry. I don't like the way you are looking at me. Okay? You have a fucking problem in your head. Do you think I'm bullshitting you? Do you think I'm lying? Fuck you! Okay? Fuck you! It's okay, man. I'm gonna chill here, man. I'm gonna chill. The thing is, all right? The thing is I killed you once already. And it's not like I am fucking crazy. It's okay. It's like water under the bridge. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
You're doing is sort of beating times on areas that all have moving targets in them. There's no people. You're not fighting enemies that are alive. It's just it's basic as can be, but it actually works. I mean, it's not something I'd advise anyone buy. But if you had 80 points and you were a really undemanding child, or you had to keep a really undemanding child busy for like.
There's not many undemanding children, I don't think.
That's very true. I don't know. I mean, it's basic as possible, and I hope that whoever created it is going to go on to bigger and better things, because they clearly know what they're doing. I mean, it controls like COD, and I was like, this is, I mean, it's like I said, it couldn't be more basic. But I was like, yeah, it's all right. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but at the same time, fair play to the guy for doing something that. Actually worked.
Nice. Shootout,
yeah.
My number 9 is WWE 13.
Oh, yeah.
Apostrophe 13, I should say. Just had another go at the old attitude mode. I talked about it a few weeks ago. It's all the old school stuff from the late 90s, which is when I was big into WWE, as are many people of my age. And it's just really nicely done. The game itself is a little bit wonky, as I said. Always has been, ever since. There's still animations in this game that are from the very first SmackDown game, which is, I think, 13 years old now, which is astonishing, really. So there's still some of those canned animations in there. But, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. You play through the stuff that happened, has some really nice video packages to back it all up, and it's just a really good nostalgia trip. It's the best one of those games in a long, long time. The main part of the game that's not the attitude.
40 minutes. I must have died over 100 times. It's the hardest Halo game. Anybody who thinks that Halo 4 is difficult on Legendary, play Halo Reach for 5 seconds. It makes a mockery of Halo 4. An
Really?
absolute mockery. I mean, as much as I love Reach, it does one thing that I think is just unforgivable, and I think I've spoke about this before, but one-shot kills.
They do that in 4 as well.
That never happened to me in 4.
Really?
No,
It
that's
happened to me a few times in 4.
something that I'm militantly against. I'm just like, that's just bad design.
Yeah.
Because, it's not you weren't playing the game properly or you weren't using cover when you were supposed to. It's not, what the hell? The AI was just a good shot. It's like there's nothing you can do. And I was in this area towards the end, and that's what really bothered me. I'd slogged through the whole thing. And the AI is still absolutely incredible, and whilst I think 343 came close to replicating it in Halo 4, it's not the same. And just I was impressed by it as impressed as I've ever been, whilst at the same time being fucking furious. And I just turned it off like, I'm done. I think it's a little too difficult. I mean, I did the same scenario probably. I dread to think how many times. Almost 100. Before I progressed to the next bit, and then I died another 30, 40 times. So I was just like, I'm done. It's too difficult. But what a fantastic game. It's just...
Yeah, I did reach on Legendary on co-op, and with a couple of skulls on as well. And I've talked about this before. It was awesome. But it really is built for co-op. The Legendary on that game, it felt it's trying to do it on your own just too hard.
Well, I mean, the scenario that I kept doing, I tried absolutely every possible technique. Everything I tried, and it just was like, life's too short for this.
It is, especially with the amount of games that we have to get through.
Yeah, but it was nice to put it to bed. I still have utmost respect for it. I think that game is phenomenal. But it's good to not have it hanging over me.
Yeah, that is nice to be able to tick stuff off the list. I've actually made a list on my computer now of games. I've always thought about doing this, and I've actually done it, of stuff like must play, then second priority, all the way down to get rid of.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I've done that, because I'll just keep adding indie games that you talk about to the bottom of the list, and
true that.
Just live in a constant purgatory. My number 8 is my boy Dikembe Mutmbo, 4.5 weeks to save the world.
Are you still playing it?
Episode 2, yeah.
Oh.
I thought, the whole game is actually a completely different game to episode 1, which is brilliant. It's like a mine cart. You can switch between the levels, and you're in a mine cart. Again, the preamble to it is hilarious. It's all about Thanksgiving, so you've got your mate Science the Bear and the pullover, and then a random turkey who's also eating turkey. Again, I can't do it justice. It's just really funny, and you have to go to like the equivalent of a Furby factory and kill all these Furbies. And halfway through, Dikembe finds out that Hostess Snacks has been shut down, so he gets really upset and he's crying while throwing Twinkies at these Furbies. Everyone play it. There's nothing bad about it. It's really funny. The game itself is really fun, and it lasts about 4 minutes. Mode is it is what it is. I don't really follow WWE anymore. I know who the people are, but the attitude mode it's a really cool mode, and I'd imagine that game is already a lot cheaper than it was. So if you're from the school of people who used to love wrestling back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and I know there's plenty of people who are, it is worth checking out.
Yeah, I've always liked those games, but they've never. It's a series that I've always been waiting to sort of become great, because they changed so much every year, and every year wasn't. Although that most of the core modes are always there, it always felt like they were trying to bring you something different each time. The actual game was always kind of solid, but no greater than that. And
yeah, I think in order to make it as good as it possibly could be, it cost a hell of a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
I think it's just like one of those cash cows that they can only spend a certain amount on it in order for it to keep turning a profit. And for THQ, they need stuff like that, definitely.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, but it's cool. It's definitely the best one that they've done in a long time.
Okay, fair play. Okay, my number 9 is Halo Reach.
Oh, no way! You finally went back to it?
Yeah, it's constantly sitting. It's been sitting on my shelf ever since it came out, and for some reason I don't know why, but I think the achievement was in the Halo 3 as well. But the achievement in Halo Reach for doing it on Legendary just on your own. There's something really inviting about that. Because of how sophisticated the AI is, there is actually some kind of that is actually an achievement. It's you can't work around it like doing COD on hard. It's complicated. So I've always wanted to do that, but I've put it to bed completely. I turned it off, deleted it from my hard drive. I played it for 4.
Where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 41 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. I'm Chet Roivas, with me is John Denton.
Yeah, boy.
As usual, we've got a list of 10 games each. The games we've been playing over the past 7 days. Number 10 is the game we've been playing the least. Number 1 is the most. And that's it. John, go ahead.
Straight away, number 10, Clay Jam. Talked about it last week. Wicked iPhone game from the guys that may or may not be from Brighton. No, they definitely are from Brighton. Anyway, like I said, Katamari with clay, plasticine. You have to build up your ball by running over all these little monsters, then flick the ball at this bearded goat, which sends flying off. And the further you can get it to fly, the higher your score. You open up new worlds, you unlock new monsters to make your ball bigger. Really, really cool. It's free. Highly recommended. Really nice game. It's getting a lot of good press as well. And like I said, I've been following it for ages. So nice to see those guys doing well, because nice guys. Spoken to them.
Okay, cool. Clay Jam.
Clay Jam, yeah, it's really good and it's free. So everyone just check it out.
Cool. All right, I'm going to do that. My number 10 is a game called Shootout on the Xbox 360. It's an Xbox Live indie game. It costs 80 points and it's a first-person shooter, so I thought I'd have a look at it. And it's fine. It actually works. All